In the stained-glass history of Ivalice, there's a gaping hole, a deliberate erasure where the face of a true hero once shone. The official chronicles sing of King Delita, the commoner who ascended to the throne and brought peace to a war-torn land. But the truth, buried within the forbidden Durai papers, tells a different story. The story of Ramza Beoulve, the heretic hero. His is a narrative about the conflict between blood and character, and the ultimate triumph of integrity over inherited status, even when that triumph means being forgotten by the world he saved. What does a branded heretic's path to the perfect hero's journey look like in the world of Final Fantasy? This is the story of Ramza. His journey begins not with a prophesized birth, but with a disillusionment that fractures his world. As the illegitimate son of the noble house Beoulve, he fights to prove himself worthy of his family name and uphold the chivalric virtues he was taught. He trains alongside his childhood friend, Delita, a commoner adopted by Ramza's father. And the two are like brothers. The two were brothers, not in blood, but in bond. Together they believe in the justness of their cause, fighting for an established social order that they believe can be perfected. But this world of privilege quickly reveals its rot. The cruel, senseless sacrifice of Delita's sister, Titra, becomes a brutal, undeniable testament to the chasm between the nobility and the common folk. An aristocratic cadet, Argath, orders archers to fire upon a hostage taker with Titra caught in the crossfire. This event is the inflection point, the moment Ramza's naive idealism shatters. He realizes his own inaction and his blindness have made him complicit in Titra's death. Overwhelmed by guilt, he sheds his identity, his Beoulve identity, choosing to become a nameless mercenary. This is Ramza's first step on the path of the heretic, a self-imposed exile from the very system he once swore to protect. While Ramza retreats from the political stage, Delita chooses a different, darker path. Like Ramza, Titra's death fundamentally changes him, but it doesn't lead him to renounce power. Instead, it teaches him that the system is unchangeable through honest means, and that only by seizing control can he truly reshape society. He begins a methodical, chillingly efficient ascent to power. He's the ultimate realist, a Machiavellian chess master who believes the ends justify the means. Delita's masterstroke is the manipulation of Princess Ovelia, a powerful royal pawn in the ongoing succession crisis known as the War of the Lions. He engineers her kidnapping, a move that places her in a position of dependence upon him. Delita is thought dead by Ramza at the end of chapter 1, but he reappears later in the story, publicly allying himself with factions while secretly double-crossing them all. By the end, he's consolidated power through cunning, betrayal, and even murder. He rises from a despised commoner to the celebrated King Delita, hailed by the official historians as a hero who brought peace to all of Ivalice. The story is a cautionary tale. A man's noble intentions can be so completely consumed by his methods that he becomes the very thing he once despised. Titra's death was the catalyst for everything. How do you think the story would have unfolded differently if she had lived? Might it have changed Delita and Ramza's relationship? Maybe Ramza and Delita wouldn't have ended up on polar opposite sides of the political spectrum. Maybe they would have rose through the ranks together. As Delita orchestrates his triumph from the shadows, Ramza follows a solitary, perilous path, unknowingly working against the same corrupt forces. He encounters the true puppet masters pulling the kingdom's strings, the malevolent Church of Glabados, and its demonic patrons, the Lucavi, who've been instigating this war to collect the Zodiac Stones. While the kingdom's leaders are consumed by civil war, Ramza is locked in a desperate, universe-saving battle against forces they cannot they cannot even comprehend. The unseen hero fighting to protect a world that actively despises and misunderstands him. The irony is profound. Ramza's battles against possessed knights, corrupt priests, and ancient demons are actually the ones that truly protect Ivalice. Yet they occur far from the public eye, hidden away in shadow. His selfless acts are what saved the world, but they're not the works of official legend. Throughout his quest, Ramza's enemies grow in number and power. His own family, caught up in the church's deceit, turns against him. The church, fearing the exposure of its demonic ties, labels him a heretic, a blasphemer, and a dangerous criminal. His name is scrubbed from history, his good deeds attributed to others, and his reputation sullied beyond repair.
I address the heretic Ramza Beoulve. You are besieged. You will surrender yourself up to us at once.
In contrast, Ivalice's ascension is celebrated. The Dry Papers, written by Ramza's chronicler Oren and suppressed by the church, revealed the truth centuries later. Ramza's story is the counter-narrative, the unspoken truth beneath the layers of Ivalice's lies. After all his manipulation, Ivalice wins the crown, but loses everything. Let me know in the comments, do you feel sympathy for Ivalice at the end? Or do you think he just got what he deserved? Let me know. Ramza's story is a profound meditation on the nature of heroism, memory, and morality. The path of virtue is not always rewarded. Ramza's steadfast commitment to his moral code costs him everything: his name, his family, and his place in history. The game teaches that true heroism is an act of selflessness, done not for recognition, but because it's right. It's easy to say that we could all be Ramza, but I mean, come on, to lose your name, your family, and your place in history, your legacy, I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow that 99% of people just wouldn't. I could lose my name, maybe even my legacy, but my family might just be a step too far. I don't know. But all this is the fallibility of history. The Dry Papers, revealing the truth generations later, not months or years, generations later, demonstrate that official history is often, well, it's often a fabricated narrative, a victor's tale designed to erase inconvenient truths. While Ivalice sits on a lonely throne, haunted by his actions, Ramza does find peace. He loses the world, but he saves his sister. The ending, with its quiet hope, suggests that living with integrity is a far more profound and satisfying reward than any earthly crown. In the end, Ramza's legacy is defined not by fame or status that he lost, but by the virtue he maintained. He is the heretic hero, a testament to the idea that some victories are too pure for history's pages and are instead etched onto the soul of the world itself. His story challenges us to question the narratives we're told and to recognize that the greatest heroes are often the ones we never hear about. Ramza's tale is a classic retelling of the hero's journey. So Ramza embodies a unique interpretation of the classical hero, deeply rooted in themes of virtue, justice, and the pursuit of truth against a backdrop of systemic corruption. His journey, while unconventional in its lack of public recognition, closely aligns with Joseph Campbell's monomyth, or The Hero's Journey, emphasizing personal conviction over fame and fortune. And Ramza goes through all these stages of the classic hero's journey: the ordinary world and the call to adventure. Ramza begins in the privileged yet rigidly structured world of House Beoulve, a noble family known for its military prowess. The call to adventure comes not from grand prophecy, but from brutal realities of the Ivalice landscape, the aftermath of the 50 Years' War and the burgeoning unrest among commoners. His first encounters with the Death Corps and the kidnapping of Teacher, Ivalice's sister, expose him to the stark injustices and hypocrisies of his noble-dominated world, initiating his departure from the familiar into the unknown. Next, we have the refusal of the call, and meeting the mentor. While Ramza initially fights with the established framework, a true refusal manifests as he confronts the corruption with his own family and the church, exemplified by his brothers in the Glabados hierarchy. His mentor figures, well, they're just less traditional. Gafgarian, though ultimately antagonistic, initially guides Ramza in the mercenary life, exposing him to the world beyond noble confines. Later, characters like Oren and Ovelia, through their struggles and revelations, serve as catalysts for Ramza's understanding of the deeper truths of Ivalice. And then we have the crossing of the threshold, tests allies and enemies. Ramza crosses this threshold by abandoning his family name and becoming a mercenary, shedding the expectations of his birthright for a life dedicated to genuine justice. He faces numerous trials, battling various factions manipulated by the Lucavi, from the Corpse Brigade to the Knights Templar. His allies are a diverse group united by their shared pursuit of truth and survival, while his enemies are often those blinded by ambition and dogma, including his own brothers, who represent the corrupt institutions he fights so strongly against. 4. Approach to the inmost cave in the ordeal. The inmost cave can be viewed as the heart of the church's manipulation and the Lucavi's influence, leading to battles in sacred spaces and ancient ruins where the true nature of the conspiracy is revealed. The ordeal is the continuous struggle against overwhelming odds, culminating in confrontations with the powerful Lucavi and the ultimate High Seraph, Ultima or Altima, where Ramza confronts the source of Ivalice's struggles and suffering head on. And then we have the reward and the road back. Ramza's reward isn't conventional power or public acclaim. Instead, it's the ultimate boon of truth and the preservation of Ivalice from demonic forces. His road back is marked by anonymity and the continued fight for those who cannot fight for themselves without seeking any personal glory. Perhaps the road back isn't the road back to his old life, or it's not a hero's welcome parade through the city, but maybe it's just the simple road back to peace. Somewhere quiet where he can lay his head and sleep soundly knowing his conscience is clean. And then the last step in the hero's journey, the resurrection and return with the elixir. His final climactic confrontation with Ultima represents a spiritual resurrection, where he fully embraces his role as the heretic hero, sacrificing his name for the greater good. The return with the elixir is the enduring, albeit hidden, truth he leaves behind, preserved by Oren's writings, which eventually form the derived papers and come to light many years later. This elixir is not a tangible object, but the knowledge and understanding necessary to challenge ingrained injustices and the power of insidious lies, even if only generations later. So yes, Ramza's journey in Final Fantasy Tactics is a profound reinterpretation of the hero's journey, where the emphasis shifts from public glorification to the quiet, persistent pursuit of virtue and truth. He's a hero whose greatest victories lie not in being acclaimed, but in the enduring impact of his selfless deeds and the hidden legacy of truth he leaves behind, even as he becomes a quote-unquote heretic in the eyes of the established world. He was demonized and still did what was right, with no expectation of reward. Ramza was and is a true hero. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. You guys plan on picking up the Ivalice Chronicles when it comes out? I definitely am. I haven't played it since War of the Lions on PSP. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to diving back into more tactics. If you made it this far, you might as well like and subscribe for more Final Fantasy content and JRPG content. It's much appreciated. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and God bless.